On everybody? What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in. This is Richie live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm here covering the NFL draft, and I'm excited to talk all things New York Jets because the NFL draft is finally upon us, folks. It is here tomorrow. We're finally going to get a good idea of where this Jets team is going. Can you imagine that? We're finally figuring it all out. Where this Jets team is going to be picking. Who will they bring in tomorrow night with the 7th overall pick? I'm excited to talk with you guys. I actually was able to talk with Daniel Jeremiah today and Charles Davis of NFL Network to get their insight about where they think the New York Jets are going to go with the 7th overall pick. Talked to a lot of prospects this morning as well. Mason Graham, he met with the New York Jets, and I asked him what would it be like to play for the New York Jets next to Quinn Williams, and it seemed like Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, he's on board of playing with the New York Jets and partnering up with Quinn Williams. Very impressed with Aaron Glenn and all that fun stuff. So I'm excited to talk things all Jets. We're live on Bleacher Report right now, so make sure you guys come over to Bleacher Report. That's where the real party is at, so make sure you guys come over here on the great Bleacher Report app. I'm going to put the link in the description right now. Since we're live on YouTube at the same time, the real party is over here on Bleacher Report, folks. So I just put the link in the YouTube chat of the link to come join the party at Bleacher Report. Let's get straight into it, man, because there's a lot of smoke around this New York Jets football team heading into it all, and I'm excited to kind of break down where I think the Jets are going to go and where there's been a lot of talk that the New York Jets are going to go. I'm going to have to put a poll up because I feel like there's a lot of Jets fans with various different opinions on where the Jets are going to go. So let's put a poll up. Where do you think the Jets will go at pick 7? Now, the obvious answer for the Jets is Tyler Warren. Now, Tyler Warren is a player that I think has been linked to the Jets for quite some time, and I still think that is the most realistic option. If you're going to ask me, Richie, at this stage, what's your prediction? And if I wanted to be like, yeah, well, if I get it right, then I win X amount of dollars, I'm going to bet on Tyler Warren to be the pick. I really do think that is the most likely scenario. But I will say, I'm not ruling out the possibility of the Jets bringing in somebody that nobody's expecting. And I think a guy like Jade Baron's name has been brought up a ton. And I don't know if that's real buzz or just smoke. But the way I look at it is, I mean, Aaron Glenn, that seems like an Aaron Glenn pick, right? That seems like an Aaron Glenn pick. And if that is the pick, that tells me that he has a lot of pull in this Jets organization. That's all I'm going to say. So who do you think the Jets will pick at pick number 7? Please let me know in the chat right now. Love to hear what you guys have to say. The poll is now live on Bleacher Report. So I'm going to be reacting to this one live with you guys to see where you guys think this Jets football team is going to go. I'm really excited because I think there's a lot of options that this Jets football team is going to provide in terms of where they're going to go. I still think that the Jets are going to go out there and draft Tyler Warren. That's where I'm going. But let's talk about the hypothetical scenario of Mason Graham being available for this Jets football team, because I think Mason Graham is a very interesting name that a lot of Jets fans have been talking about. And I think if he's there at number 7, that's a defensive player I would actually consider the Jets bringing on it. So you guys let me know, would you want the Jets to go after Mason Graham? Or are you all in on Armanu or a guy like Warren? So you guys let me know in the chat how you're feeling about it, because I think that you can make a case for the Jets to go after Mason Graham, but at the end of the day, I just don't know if he's going to be available. I don't know if he's going to be available. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. So I think if you want to pair up a defensive monster with Quinn Williams for the foreseeable future, Mason Graham from Michigan makes a lot of sense. But again, I just don't think he'll be available for the Jets with that 7th overall pick. Now, when it comes to the philosophy of the Jets football team, I do feel like the Jets are trying to move in silence. And we saw a report come out from Adam Schefter that the Jets brought Tyler Warren in for a secret visit. Now, what does a secret visit even mean? Right? Because obviously the world's going to find out eventually. But I think the secret visit with Tyler Warren was more about Aaron Glenn trying to keep things in-house as much as possible, because as we all know as Jets fans, we are coming out of the Aaron Rodgers era, the Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas era. And I think we can all agree that that was all about every single person in that building leaked something to the media. Everything. We found out way too much. Now, as a Jets content creator and a Jets fan, yeah, it's cool to see behind the curtain a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes. But also, there's some business that we probably should not have known about that was publicized. And I'm hoping that that's not going to happen again. And I think that's what Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are going to try to do, is move in silence. And the reason why I bring that up is the meeting with Tyler Warren. I think with the previous regime, if Robert Saleh was still the coach, if Joe Douglas was still the general manager, if Aaron Rodgers was still the quarterback, I think the day Tyler Warren was coming to visit the Jets and work out, we would have found out the day of. But now we're finding out a week later that the Jets hosted Tyler Warren. Like, that's just a small little difference of what the culture of Aaron Glenn is with this Jets football team, right? And I think the leaks being gone is very important. It really, really is. And I think that is what we're all trying to get all on board. And I think if you're a Jets fan, that is definitely something to be excited about. Now, does that guarantee the Jets are going to win 10 plus games this season? No, it doesn't. But it's the little things that I'm noticing with this Jets football team. It's the little things that I'm noticing. And the leaks being gone so far tells me all you need to know of this Jets football team trying to keep everything in-house, okay? So now, when it comes to the Tyler Warren visit, I do believe that Darren Muji and the Jets front office, they are very high on him. And I think that the Jets front office prefers Tyler Warren, whereas Aaron Glenn, as a head coach, prefers defense. And I think whoever the pick is going to be, now we're going to have a good idea of who really runs the ship from a personnel perspective. Because I think when the Jets hired Aaron Glenn, the fact that he's a former scout, a lot of people are speculating that he's going to have personnel control. And it's kind of his team. And another reason why you should believe that is because the Jets hired Aaron Glenn first, and then they hired Darren Muji. So that's the dynamic. When you hire your head coach first, and then you hire a general manager later in the week, that tells you that Aaron Glenn handpicked his GM. So I think Aaron Glenn has a lot of control with this Jets football team. I don't think that he has this end-all, be-all say. I think it's 50-50 in terms of like Muji and Glenn are working in collaboration rather than it being all one way or the other. So I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think that both Glenn and Muji are realizing that they need to work together. And I really noticed something interesting. When Darren Muji spoke to the media earlier this week, he mentioned the dynamic between him and Aaron Glenn and what they're differencing, like how they approach, say they have different opinions on a specific prospect. How do they meet in the middle, right? How do they meet in the middle? And they just keep watching the same film with a guy. They have open dialogue and they meet in the middle. And I think that is really important of a partnership between a head coach and a general manager. So I'm excited to see how they really pair up, and I'm excited to see their overall first draft class. And I wanted to ask you guys this question. What's your level of confidence in Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn in their first ever draft? This is their first ever draft, folks. And I think that is something that is really, really interesting to see where it all comes together. Because this draft is absolutely massive. When you have a brand new head coach and a brand new general manager, and you're about to bring in your first ever first round pick together, it has to be a hit. I mean, if they whiff on this first round pick and he ends up being a bust, like, that's not going to be a good sign, obviously, for this regime moving forward. And obviously, the first round pick is not the only player that the Jets are bringing on in. We got a lot of picks to talk about day 2, day 3, but that 7th overall pick is interesting. Now, I want to open this up to a question for you guys and a topic, which is, are the Jets going to trade that pick? Could they trade up? Will they trade down? And I'm here to tell you guys that I would not rule out the possibility of the Jets at least calling teams to trade up. And I know that may sound a little crazy, and I'm just trying to think of the unexpected here. And that's kind of what I want to do here. What could go in a direction that no one sees coming? And I really do think that the Jets trading up for a guy like Travis Hunter could be on the board. That's only if he falls a little bit, which I don't think's happening. I think the most likely scenario in this draft tomorrow night is Cam Ward number 1, Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland number 2, Abdul Carter goes to the Giants, and then Will Campbell goes to the Patriots at 4. But I will say, we're finding out that the Browns and the Giants are open for business, and that's why I'm bringing this up. We're hearing now that the 2nd and the 3rd overall pick is being shopped. Does that mean the Jets are one of the teams that are interested to come on up? What if the Jets trade up for Abdul Carter, right? I mean, you never know what is in store with this Jets team because we've never seen what this regime is about. Now, I think the most likely scenario is the Jets stay put at pick 7 or a trade down perhaps. Say they like somebody in the draft in 10, 11, 12 range and somebody wants to trade up for a guy like Ashen Genty. I can see the Bears potentially trading up from 10 to 7 to get Ashen Genty. I think there's a lot of buzz around that. And I also feel like the Raiders, all of a sudden, there's a lot of buzz with the Raiders going after Armanu. So everyone that's saying Armanu, like I don't think it's a lock that Armanu is going to be available for the Jets at pick 7. And I think that is where you got to go all in with, of course, Tyler Warren, right? So what's your guys' level of confidence in this regime? AG, Muji confidence level at 50%. I wouldn't mind Tet or Warren at 7. I don't know if I like these offensive tackles that are going early. Can't take Baron with Carter the 2nd. So if the Jets go Jade Baron, let's talk about that. If the Jets draft Jade Baron from Texas, think of Brian Branch with the Detroit Lions. That is exactly what Baron would bring to the Jets. Now, I'm not saying that I would do it. I'm just trying to read in between the lines of what the philosophy would be. Because if they go Baron, all of a sudden the Jets do have one of, if not the best secondaries in football. With Sauce Gardner, Baron, MC2, and Andre Sisco. But I really don't see it happening, so I don't want to waste too much time talking about it. But his name was brought up by ESPN's Adam Schefter. If there's anybody that knows what's going on, it's Adam Schefter. And he is the one that brought up Jade Baron's name linked to the New York Jets. But then I talked to Daniel Jeremiah and I asked him, are you buying into that hype? Are you buying into the Jets going after a defensive player? And he still thinks that Tyler Warren and Armanu are the 2 favorites to be the New York Jet. And I think that Armanu potentially going to the Las Vegas Raiders at pick 6 opens up the Jets going after Tyler Warren. And it makes a lot of sense. It really, really does. Now, I think there's other potential players that we're not talking about, like Tet McMillan, for example. How would you guys feel with a Tet McMillan pick at pick 7? I think that's a prospect that not a lot of Jets fans have been talking about. Me personally, I don't think the Jets got to go that direction. I think that you can get a receiver in rounds 2, 3, or 4. We got our number 1 receiver in Garrett Wilson, and I just don't think Tet McMillan is that good of a prospect to warrant a 7th overall pick. That's how I feel. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player in the league at all, but I think there's a lot better players in this draft than Tet McMillan that I'd rather take at 7. And that's how I look at it. I would do. If the Jets want to go wide receiver, you trade back. That's my opinion. And then get McMillan in a trade back scenario, or, Matthew Golden, right? Emeka Ikbuka. I talked to Matthew Golden actually last night, and he looks like he's ready to go. And I think him going to Dallas is likely, but there's a lot. There's a lot of fun things. And let's talk about the Ashen Genty stuff, because there's still some people hyping up Ashen Genty going to the Jets, by the way. There's still Jets fans saying, what about Ashen Genty? Ashen Genty to the Jets. The Jets are not going to trade Breece Hall and draft Genty. I just don't see it happening, man. I would be shocked. And if it happens, I will eat crow and say I was wrong. I didn't see it coming. Breece Hall is showing up to all the voluntary workouts right now. He seems like he's all in with this team. I just don't understand why there's some fans that want to trade Breece Hall for Ashen Genty. Ashen Genty is a ridiculous talent. And I think there's a world where he goes top 5. If there was a surprise and a shocker that's going to happen tomorrow night, it's Ashen Genty going top 5 with the team trading up for him. That would be a shocker. So I am not buying into the hype of Ashen Genty going to the New York Football Jets. I'm just not. I'm not. I am really intrigued about the quarterbacks, though. We know Cam Ward's going number 1, and then who knows where the rest of the quarterback's going to go. Is there a world where Jackson Dart gets drafted before Shedeur Sanders? I think that's a possibility. I talked to Charles Davis today from NFL Network, and I asked him if there was a surprise in this year's draft, what is it going to be? And he thinks Jackson Dart's going to go a lot earlier than people think if there was going to be a surprise. And now, to the Jets, no, that's not happening, obviously. Jackson Dart's not going to be the pick for the Jets at 7. If that was the case, oh my goodness, we're going to be in for a whirlwind of Jets fans panicking and spiraling out of control. All I'm going to say is this. Nobody in the entire NFL world predicted the Atlanta Falcons drafting Michael Penix Jr. last year. I'm just saying. So, will the Jets draft Jackson Dart at 7? No, don't see it happening. But we have seen wild things in the NFL. So, if I'm a Jets fan, I would recommend going into this draft predicting the unexpected. You got to expect the unexpected, especially the fact that the Jets don't have the same GM and the same head coach that we've had. So we don't know the tendencies. It's a giant unknown of where we think the Jets are going to go. We can't predict. Tyler Warren, Armanu seems to be the favorites, but there could be somebody out of left field coming on this Jets radar that's high on their board. We have no idea. So I think, Jackson Dart to the Saints makes a lot of sense at 9. Shedeur Sanders to Pittsburgh at 21. Do you think the Steelers have to trade up for him to land to Pittsburgh? I don't know. If I had to guess, I do think the most likely destinations for the quarterbacks in the first round is Cam Ward to Tennessee, which, by the way, I met Cam Ward last night, and I talked to him this morning. Great guy. And Jackson Dart, number 9, to New Orleans, which I think would be a really good fit for him. And then Shedeur Sanders at number 21. I don't think that's going to affect the Jets because the Jets, maybe there's a team that wants to trade up for one of the quarterbacks, and the Jets can be that team that trades out of the 7th overall pick and gets a lot of assets. I don't know. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited. There's some Jets fans saying they want to trade back. Am I the only one bringing up the potential of trading up? Am I the only one? Trade up for Travis Hunter. I'm going to push that until Travis Hunter gets drafted by somebody. I don't know about you guys, but Travis Hunter is that much of a generational prospect where I would do what it takes to trade up for him. I think it's unlikely. I think it's a big price to pay. But if he gets past the Browns and he gets past the Giants and he's there at 4, the Patriots are not going to give us that pick. That's for sure. But if he falls to 5, the Jaguars would take him. I don't know, man. I'm living in a pipe world dream. I'm a Jets fan, and I want Travis Hunter on my football team. Man, I wish we had a higher pick for that, but we don't. So I'm excited about it, though. I really, really am. I think the NFL draft is going to be awesome. I had a cool tour today of going on the draft stage, seeing the green room where all the draft prospects sit and wait to hear their name get called, and it's going to be really interesting to see what's in store for this Jets football team. I really, really am excited for tomorrow night. Now, who are some prospects to look out for the Jets on day 2 and day 3? That's another one. If there was a receiver that I'd like the most for this Jets team to target on day 2, it's Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams is exactly what the Jets need to take the top off the defense, vertical threat, speed. I absolutely love Kyle Williams. I think if you want to go more of a 50-50 guy, Jaden Higgins from Iowa State makes a lot of sense as well. And it also makes you wonder, okay, well, do the Jets go offensive line or tight end in the first round? If they don't go tight end, if they don't go Tyler Warren, there's a lot of tight ends I love in rounds 2 and 3. Elijah Ororo is a guy I like. Harold Fannin, right? Taylor from LSU. There's a lot of guys to like at the tight end position later on in the draft. So I think there's a lot of options for the Jets. And defensive tackle is definitely a position that I feel like us Jets fans need to open our mind about a little bit more. Luckily, this draft is very deep at that position. The defensive tackle position is absolutely, you can get a defensive tackle in rounds 3 to 5 and feel really good about that prospect. That's how deep it is. Alfred Collins is a name I've heard linked to the Jets. later in the draft, which I think would be smart if he's there in rounds 3 or 4. You never know. You really, really never know. And I'm excited to see like the type of players that this Jets football team is going to bring in. Like I feel like there's a different energy now with this Jets regime. There's a completely different energy now, and I think that this Jets football team is going to do everything in their possible to bring in the right players to fit the mold. To fit the mold of this football team, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. You guys let me know if you have any thoughts or predictions about this Jets team heading into the NFL draft, because there's a lot of things that's going to happen that I don't think anybody is going to predict. I don't think that yes, if Tyler Warren is the guy, I'll be very excited. I'm a big Tyler Warren fan. But that seems like, that's very likely, right? If that happens, I'll be happy. Now, expanding on why Tyler Warren would be a good pick, I think he would be. I think he'd be an absolute gem of an offensive weapon for this Jets team to use. And the reason why I say that is because what Tyler Warren brings to the table is everything on the tight end position. And look at this tight end room right now, and tell me that you're comfortable with it. Tell me that you're comfortable with Tyler Warren. Tell me you're comfortable with the tight end position without Tyler Warren. Jeremy Ruckert, Smart, and Zach Kuntz. That's a position of need. And I do feel like you could fill in that tight end position elsewhere. You can. You don't have to go after Tyler Warren to solve the tight end spot. You can for sure go after somebody later on in the draft. I get that, 110%. But I feel like this Jets team's got to prioritize the offensive side of the ball, man. You do, and if you look at the offense, the holes on offense right now is right tackle, tight end, and wide receiver. Right? Wide receiver next to Garrett Wilson is very interesting. I do think that. A lot of people are hyping up Jeremy Ruckert to be breaking out this year with Justin Fields. And listen, I love Jeremy Ruckert. The guy's a Long Island native. He grew up in a town over from me on Long Island, New York. Big fan of Jeremy Ruckert, but I don't want to go into the season with him as our number 1 tight end. I think Jeremy Ruckert is a perfect tight end 2. And by the way, being a tight end 2 does not mean you're not seeing the field. The Jets are going to run a lot of formations with 2 tight ends on the field, and Ruckert will get his opportunities. Trust me, this year he's going to get an opportunity. If the Jets draft Tyler Warren, Jeremy Ruckert is still going to play a lot of football and get targets and be impactful. Right? That's how I look at it. It's not like if the Jets go after Tyler Warren, if they draft another tight end this year, it's not like Jeremy Ruckert's forgotten. He's not going to do anything. Like the Jets are going to run a lot of sets with multiple tight ends on the football field. So that's that. Now, the Armanu Membu situation is interesting. The guy is skyrocketing up boards. And he's now getting mocked to the Raiders. There's some people saying that the Patriots are considering him. There's some people saying the Jaguars are considering him. Armanu Membu is a rock at right tackle, and now people are like, well, he is. It's rare that, the last time a right tackle was projected to go this high was Penei Sewell. And the organization that drafted Penei Sewell was the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions is exactly the team that we are trying to replicate in our own way. And correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but wasn't Penei Sewell the first draft pick of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn's tenure with them? Was that their first draft pick together to kind of set their new era? I believe. And the Jets can replicate that with Armanu Membu. And I do think that it's not as likely as some people think for Armanu Membu to be available at pick 7. I think there's a world where we're looking at the board, Armanu Membu's off, and really the only option is Tyler Warren or trading back or getting a defensive player on your board. Mason Graham, is he available? Trading back. Jade Baron if the Jets really want to go that direction. There's a lot of interesting things going to happen here, folks. And there's a lot of targets that I'm excited about. I think the safety position is intriguing to me as well for the Jets. I think that if you're the Jets and you're looking at the safety position, there's a lot of guys to like at that spot. But you look at the offseason workouts, it just seems like there's a lot of guys all in right now. And, Peter Schrager, who is one of the top analysts that I always look up to in terms of, he knows what he's talking about. In his mock draft that just dropped today, he has Tyler Warren. And he said, I've been hearing Warren to the Jets for a few weeks. This might seem early for a tight end, but in this draft, teams should take their guy where they can get him. In Warren's case, the new regime can turn to its owner, fans, and locker room and say, this is what we are about. That's Peter Schrager's words on, of course, Tyler Warren being the pick for him with the New York Jets at pick 7. So, I mean, if that is the pick, I'm down. I really do feel like the Jets have an opportunity here to bring in some lethal weapons in this year's draft, and you guys should feel the same way, man. Tyler Warren being the pick at pick 7 should hype you up. And if you're not hyped up about the idea of Tyler Warren being the pick at pick 7, I don't know what to tell you, man. The guy can do everything. We have not seen a tight end coming out of college like him in a while. We have not. Kyle Pitts was hyped up, but he was just a receiver. Colston Loveland even is a stud, but he's just a receiver. Tyler Warren can do everything at the tight end position, which is why everybody loves him. Block, run routes, be a gadget. Oh, if you told me right now who I want and who would my pick be, it is still Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. I remember watching his film or even watching Penn State games this past year and just being wowed by the guy. Can you imagine seeing Tyler Warren and Jeremy Ruckert lined up on the field together? Running routes and blocking, and not to mention the running attack with Tyler Warren would be lethal. You can give him the ball. You can hand the ball off to Tyler Warren on end arounds. You can hand the ball off to him out of the backfield. That's how Penn State used him. You can line him out wide. Call direct snaps for the guy. The guy ran the quarterback position out of the Wildcat for Penn State. The guy is a unicorn. They don't make tight ends like him. And I don't think we've seen a tight end coming out of the draft like him in a long time. And why not go after him? That can provide an immediate impact, a blue chip tight end, which I think the tight end position is trending in the league today. I think the tight end position is a spot that is becoming more of a premium than it's ever been. Right? You just saw Trey McBride for Arizona get paid. Right? They're becoming really valuable. If you have a stud at tight end, that is a weapon that your quarterback can lean on. You got your receiver. And I think Justin Fields has an opportunity to lean on Warren if he's the pick. And listen, I think that what the Jets have shown is that we got a brand new coaching staff. Aaron Glenn is going to instill his fingerprints all over this football team. And that's where there's a part of me that's like, man, if there was something that's going to happen that is unexpected, it is 100% going to be the Jets going defense. I'm not going to go out there and predict it, but I will say it is a legit possibility that us Jets fans need to open up your mind about as an opportunity to draft a defensive player. And if it is a defensive player like Jade Baron, like Mason Graham, maybe it's somebody else. You never know. Now, there's another guy that I didn't even mention yet on the show that was mocked to the Jets by Rich Cimini. It's Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle. I don't understand that one because the guy is a pure left tackle, never played right tackle in his life. So you're going to draft someone at pick 7 and hope that he can move to right tackle? I don't know if I like that. Unless their vision is to make Olu a right tackle. No, I want Olu our starting left tackle for the next decade. And Armanu being the right tackle next to him if he's the pick. That sounds a little bit more fun. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot of interesting scenarios for this Jets team to debate, but I'm here in Green Bay. I will be there tomorrow night for the NFL Draft. I'm excited about it, folks. We're going to wrap up the show here on Bleacher Report. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here on Bleacher Report. My name is Richie Malora live here. I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. We're signing off now on Bleacher Report. We're still live on YouTube. Don't you click off. You guys are probably like, Richie, you're ending the show here too. No, I'm not. We're still live on YouTube, folks. Smash the like button. Sorry I'm not as interactive with the chat when I'm live on Bleacher Report at the same time. But Mutbayels before came in here with the member super chat. What's up, Richie? It's pre-draft night. Hope you're having fun in Green Bay. I'm out there a lot to visit. My girl also might move there, but I think we are going to trade back. You're going to move to Green Bay. Wow. That's interesting. You let me know why. I love that. Hennessy with the $2 says, the leaks are gone. No one knows anything. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Sir Brooks II came on in before and said, AG Muji, confidence level at 50%. I wouldn't mind a Tet or Warren at 7. I don't know if I like these offensive tackles. They are going early. Can't take Baron with Carter II. Yeah, I agree with that. And I really do appreciate you, Sir Brooks. With another super chat, Dart is going to the Saints, and he's going to Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for the generous super chat, my guy. I really do appreciate that. Really do appreciate that. So, Louis loves Nintendo's in the chat. What's good, man? Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Again, we are live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The AFC East Roundtable is going to be live in less than a half hour, so we're about to get that show ready to go. And, yeah, it's going to be me and TD. I'm with TD Finstock right now. So make sure you guys go check out the AFC East Roundtable as soon as this show wraps up. Would really appreciate if you guys can go tune in over there. And, yeah, make sure you guys go follow Roundtable Sports, because Roundtable Sports is where I'm posting all of our interviews, and I got a cool video coming out later today about behind the scenes of what it's like to be an NFL draft prospect on draft night. A lot of fun things. So I will see you guys later tonight, in a few moments actually, for the AFC East Roundtable. I will see you guys later. Much love to everybody, and peace out. Let's go, Jets!